This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of the Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. Oh, we're so back. Now that there's actually a reason to talk about Nintendo, I thought it would be perfect timing to discuss every single Nintendo series and when we could be hearing from them. In today's video, I'm gonna rate every Nintendo series activity status as of 2024. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, when it comes to Nintendo franchises, some series are given more love than others. And I'm here to tell you just how likely it is that we'll see an announcement from every series in the next Nintendo Direct. And I mean every series. I'll be going through each Nintendo franchise and rating them on a scale of 1 to 5 based on how likely a new game is to release in the upcoming 18 months. Since Nintendo has so many series, many of which you probably don't care about, I'll be going through all of the lesser known series quickly and dissect the more well-known ones a little deeper. Before we begin, let me explain the 5 levels of series activity. 1 basically means that series dead. I don't see a new game coming soon or even at all. 2 means they're on hiatus. These are kind of reserved for like the Chibi Robos and the Star Foxes and the F-Zeros, where it's like they're kind of well known, but they don't really sell well and there hasn't been a game in a few generations, so it's possible, but not likely. 3 means they're on a break. This is usually reserved for series that just had games in the past year or so. I could see a new game coming in like 4 or 5 years towards like the mid to late end of the new console's generation, but I don't see a new game like anytime soon. 4 means it's very likely we hear something soon. In this category, a game could be announced at any Nintendo Direct. And 5 is reserved for the series that already have games announced to be coming out soon, or they're basically locks to have a new game. Now, what do I consider to be a series? Basically, any Nintendo franchise that has at least 2 games. Mario is a series. Zelda is a series. ARMS, not a series. It only has 1 game. Now, that may not seem fair to not rank games like ARMS, but this is the criteria I set out to make sure that the games I was dissecting actually have a precedent of a sequel. Any game that doesn't have a sequel yet is still too early to call a series. With all of that minutia out of the way, let's begin. Alright, starting off with a heavy hitter, 1080 Degrees. These are just 2 snowboarding games that came out for the N64 and GameCube. I don't see a return likely, I'm giving it a 1. 1-2 Switch. You know, I wouldn't be shocked. Everybody 1-2 Switch was kind of a shit show, but with it basically being the Wii Sports of the Switch brand, I wouldn't say that it's unlikely. 3. Advance Wars. The remake just came out last year, but that game has been done since 2021. I think it's possible they've been working on something new, but seeing as you can't really find the sales numbers anywhere online, I wouldn't say that's a great sign. 2. Animal Crossing. If there was ever a lock for a new game coming soon, this is the one. Animal Crossing basically punched its ticket to the Nintendo Big 3 with New Horizons' meteoric rise with the Switch. I would assume a year 2 launch on this one, just because New Horizons was technically a mid to late system release, but accounting for Nintendo's quick abandonment of that game's DLC, a new game could honestly be announced any day now. 4. Another Code. An RPG series from the late 2000s that just got a remake. Same situation as Advance Wars, either does well and gets a new game in a few years, or nothing at all. 2. Art Academy. 7 entries spanning 6 years from 2009 to 2016. I don't know, I'm giving it a 2. Balloon Fight. An iconic black box NES game. Could get something new at any point, but don't hold your breath. 2. Big Brain Academy. Another Wii-era series that got a reboot on the Switch. The game did decently well, and I could very well see a new game on the next console. 3. Box Boy. Cute franchise by HAL Labs, with lots of praise. We haven't gotten one since 2019, but I would be shocked if there wasn't a new entry around the corner. 4. Brain Age. Same as Big Brain. We just got a new game in 2019, and could get one any day now. 4. Chibi Robo. Ziplash was supposedly his last chance, but I still got hope for this little guy. Let's just hope the next game doesn't blow. 2. Classic Books. Basically just an ebook for the DS. 1. Clubhouse Games. 51 worldwide classics did very well on the Switch, and I would be shocked if we didn't get a new one on the next console. 4. Cruisin'. More popular in arcades than at home, however, I could see a new cabinet in a few years. 3. Dylan's Rolling Western, a 3DS game series in which Dylan, the anthropomorphic armadillo, must protect the town from nightly invasion. Maybe doing every series was a mistake. 1. Donkey Kong Country. Retro is supposedly working on Metroid Prime 4, but I would be shocked if we didn't get a new game soon. 4. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. We just got the remake this year. Again, if this game sells well, I could see a new game soon, so I'm giving it a 3. Donkey Konga. Absolutely not. 1. DK King of Swing. 2 puzzle platformers for the DS, initially developed by Rare before they were bought out by Microsoft. And the current development team doesn't seem interested since the last game came out in 2007. 1. Endless Ocean. A year ago, I would have put them at 1, seeing as there were only 2 games on the Wii. But after Endless Ocean Luminous got announced this year, apparently the series is alive and well. 5. Excite series. Pretty well known, especially after getting a track in Mario Kart. However, the last game came out in 2009, and I wouldn't say a new game is likely, but it's extremely possible. 2. Famicom Detective Club. Revived with localizations in 2021. But besides that, I doubt anything new. Like, for real, it's got Famicom in the name. 2. Fire Emblem. Engage just came out in 2023. They seem to have about a 3-year pace with their main series games, so I would expect a new one in 2026 or so. 3. Flipnote Studio. Flipnote Studio was so fun. However, the last game came out 10 years ago at this point, and without a stylus, I'm not sure how this game works. 2. Fluidity. Shovelware puzzle games for the Wii and 3DS. 1. Fossil Fighters, a game where you dig up fossils and turn them into dinosaurs. 3 games, and the last one came out in 2014. 1. F-Zero. F-Zero 99 was a fun nostalgia trip, but Mario Kart takes up F-Zero's spot in Nintendo's lineup. Just for Captain Falcon, I'll keep it at 2. Game & Watch. I could see a pack of games at some point, but no new games in sight. 1. Golden Sun. This is a tricky one. There is lots of love for it on the internet, so I could see a remake at some point. I'm gonna say 3. Kid Icarus. I could see a remake for that on the Switch to garner interest for a sequel, or a new game outright, but I could also just see them abandoning it forever. I'm giving Kid Icarus a 2. Kuruin. A puzzle game for the GBA with 2 sequels in Japan, and it was on the Wii U Virtual Console, but I'm giving it a 1. Kirby has been on a tear recently. He recently got into the 3rd dimension with Forgotten Land, and just got Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Kirby is one of those series that could get a game basically whenever. I would assume a new 2D game is what's next, but I could also see a sequel to Forgotten Land, so I'm gonna give it a solid 4. Labo. Innovative idea, but didn't seem to reach the heights of other Switch products. 2. Super Mario. We just got Super Mario Wonder. DLC for that game is possible, but I also think a new Mario Maker could be released for the new console. The 2D series is a 100% lock. However, I think it'll be some time before we get a new one. 3. 3D Mario. I think it's official, Nintendo has forgotten about 3D Mario. We haven't gotten a new game since 2017, and even if you count Bowser's Fury, it's been a while. I think a new game is definitely coming out next year. Like, come on, we're getting a new console. There's no way a 3D Mario isn't a release game. I'm giving it a 5. Mario Kart. We've gotten 2 spin-offs and 2 DLCs since the release of Mario Kart 8 in 2014, and I think it's idiotic to assume that they haven't been working on something new. If any game is a lock for a launch title, it's a new Mario Kart game. 5. Mario Party. I wouldn't even be shocked if we get a new Mario Party this year. It's honestly the quintessential end of console game. 5. Mario Sports. Aces, Super Rush, and Battle League all suck. They need to take a break and put out a finished game before launch. Who are we kidding? They pump these games out like hotcakes. 4. Paper Mario. Origami King is the best-selling game in the series. It wasn't exactly a return to form, but much better than Sticker Star and Color Splash. I would definitely expect a new game on the new console, but it's more of a mid-console lifespan game, so I'm gonna give it a 3. Mario and Luigi, the other Mario RPG series. Remakes of Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story came out in 2017 and 2018 before Alpha Dream declared bankruptcy. It could come back at any point with new developers, but for now, the series is still up in the air. 2. Luigi's Mansion. Switch Effect came in full force for Luigi's Mansion 3. It sold a whopping 11 million units, and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD comes out later this year. It's a good time to be a Luigi's Mansion fan. 5. Dr. Mario. The last console Dr. Mario released in 2015 with Miracle Cure, and the mobile game Dr. Mario World that came out in 2019, then got discontinued in 2021. Puzzle games will never go away, but you can't quite read what Nintendo wants to do with the Doctor. 2. 2D Metroid. Dread came back and revived the 2D Metroid series, and I expect to see a new one actually very soon, like in the next 2 years soon. 4. Metroid Prime. Is this game actually being worked on? I would have said a 4 because I do believe we could hear anything at any moment, but I'm not so confident. Prime 4 could either be a Switch 2 release year game or gets axed. It really could go either way. I'll give it a 4. I'm feeling optimistic today. Mother, Earthbound, whatever you want to call it, I don't think it can continue without its lead director. He had such a pulse on the childlike mysticism that made those games special, and I don't think anybody else could make a Mother 4 without him. Only thing I could see happening is a Mother 3 English dub, but you know how they feel about that. 2. Nintendogs. I could see a nostalgia bait comeback. Really, this series is stuck in the Tomodachi era. I'm giving it a 2. After the disaster that was Hey Pikmin, it seems they've been revived with the toe dip with Pikmin 3 Deluxe and the cannonball that was Pikmin 4. It's a good time to be a Pikmin fan, but I also don't think we're getting a new game for at least a few more years. 3. Iconic flight sim series that seemingly touched all Nintendo fans' hearts at one point or another. Couldn't tell you when, but at some point we'll be getting more Pilot Wings. 3. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. One of the most consistent spin-off series Nintendo has seemingly ever had, with one of these games coming basically every 3 years. And seeing as Rescue Team released in 2020, I'd say it's likely we hear news about a new Mystery Dungeon game in the next few years. 4. Pokemon Rumble. A WiiWare title that somehow spawned many spin-offs, including an Amiibo soft launch with Rumble U. The last game was the mobile game Rumble Rush in 2019, but could also see a pretty severe hiatus. So with all this uncertainty, I'm gonna give it a 3. Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap finally came back after 22 years and lived up to the hype. Could see them making new ones with new Pokemon every few generations. 3. Pokemon Stadium. We haven't gotten a new game since 2000, but you can play it on NSO, and out of all of the old spin-off series, I think we could definitely see a Pokemon Stadium revival. 2. Detective Pikachu, a quirky adventure game that took the Pokemon world by storm and even got a movie adaptation in 2019. And Detective Pikachu 2 was released fairly recently. However, I don't see them making a new one very soon, so I'm gonna give it a 2. Sorry, Detective Pikachu fans. Mainline Pokemon. Way too much. Please take a break and spend time fine-tuning your games. I know yearly releases make you more money, but please, for once, take your time, Pokemon, please. Punch-Out. The goated rhythm game that disguises itself as a fighting game. But with Lil Mac now in Smash, the Punch-Out brand is primed to take off with a Switch 2 release. 4. Pushmo. A series of 4 block-pushing puzzle games that came out between the years 2011 and 2015. With many cameos in other Nintendo games like Smash and Mario Maker, I could see the series getting a slight chance of returning, but it sure is slim. 2. Rhythm Heaven. We've gotten a Rhythm Heaven game in every console generation since the GBA, but with pretty solid sales numbers, I could literally see a new game announced any day now. 4. Splatoon. The most successful new IP in Nintendo's library. With 3 mainline games in the books, I think the future of Splatoon beyond the multiplayer experience is some sort of spin-off. I can't quite pinpoint what that would be, but I have a feeling it's coming. 4. Star Fox is an anomaly to me. They have some of the coolest characters in Nintendo's library, and a pretty simple formula that has worked in the past, but somehow they always fumble the bag. I think we'll get a new Star Fox game, but not anytime soon. 2. Starfy. Starfy has actually had 5 games, but only their 5th and latest game, The Legend of Starfy, was released outside of Japan. I could see a Starfy return, but seeing as Starfy 5 came out in 2008 and sold pretty poorly overseas, it would be hard to justify a Starfy return. But screw it. This is my underdog sleeper pick of 2024. We're going to hear about Starfy news this year. Starfy 6, here we come. 4. Steel Diver, also known as one of the 3DS launch titles that existed. Yeah, I don't know much about the series, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't really want to know more. 1. Super Smash Bros. Tough one since Sakurai's supposed retirement. Ultimate should be the end, but I could also see a deluxe for that on the next system. But for now, I think it's on a hiatus, and I think it should stay that way. Ultimate was a fitting end to this era of Smash. But Knowing Nintendo and how much they like to make money, I'm giving it a 3. Swap Note. Basically PictoChat for the 3DS. As much as I loved PictoChat, who the hell remembers Swap Note? If we're getting a PictoChat-like service, it's going to be called PictoChat. 1. Wario Land. Yeah, it's a Game Boy era game. It had a revival on the Wii, but I don't really see a new game in its future. I'm giving it a 2. WarioWare. We just got Get It Together. However, I expect to see a new game on the next console, so I'm giving it a 4. The Wii series. Switch Sports kind of killed the possibility of these games. Clubhouse Games takes this place in the Nintendo library. I'm giving all of them a 1 except for Wii Sports because that's the most popular one, and I could see a new Switch Sports or something kind of sports in the future, but I don't see any of these being very likely. Wrecking Crew. Another classic NES black box game. We got a sequel in 98, but nothing new since. Xenoblade Chronicles has been popping off on the Switch, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. Expect a new spin-off or game coming out in about 3 to 5 years, whenever they're done making it. 3. Split Yoshi into 2 series, Island-like and Material games. Personally, I like the Island games better, but the trend seems to be the Material games, and Crafted World sold decently well. I'm going to actually go out on a limb and say we get a 3D Yoshi instead of another 2D side-scroller, but I could still see it being a Material World like Woolly World or Crafted World. 3. Last but not least, The Legend of Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom just came out last year, so I don't see a new 3D game coming out anytime soon. 2D, on the other hand, is actually pretty interesting. The last 2D Zelda game we got was the Link's Awakening remake. So yeah, I could see a new 2D Zelda game coming out as soon as 2025. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch this video right here ranking every single Nintendo Switch box art. Alright, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.